Good morning, welcome to the Sir Ken and Lady Morrison Fund Round 2 briefing event. So this is a recording where I'll go through the application process, the criteria, the fund's aims, and also any other relevant information for this fund. My name is Helena Bassey. I'm a grants officer here at Give Bradford, and I am managing this fund programme. So I'll start by discussing a little bit about what community foundations do and who we are as Give Bradford. So Give Bradford is part of 46 affiliated community foundations across the UK. And since the foundation began, we've given out £1 billion in grants. We also have a £692 million endowment across the network. And in the past year, we've also given out £68 million of National Emergency Trust funding distributed during the COVID-19 pandemic. We're also a combined community foundations across the UK with the 4th largest UK grant maker. And we work together to inspire businesses and private donors to give money locally. And we give out that money efficiently to high quality community work supporting local people in our district. We also have experts in our patch who will give an overview of need and provide a practical vehicle for action. So Give Bradford was a campaign launched in 2017 and we work to invest in local community activities which create positive change and works to improve the lives of local people across the district of Bradford. In 2020, we have distributed £1,724,000, 387 pence through 189 grants to charities and community groups across the Bradford district. And grants were made to support groups through the COVID-19 pandemic of up to £442,336 through the Resilience Fund Bradford. And these figures are from January 2020 to today. And Give Bradford, we also have a membership which we continue to engage with businesses and individuals across the city who want to make a difference in the area in which they live and work. And we seek and we work to attract further investment to enable us to create a city of opportunity for all across the city. So our current grant making includes a number of funding programmes. So we do tend to work with different businesses and partners. So an example is we work for the Bradford Youth Fund, and that is with Bradford City Council to fund youth provision across the city and youth work. We also have Go Higher, which is to support students into enrolling into further education, and Sir Ken and Lady Morrison Fund, which is due to launch as well, and that's to focus around literacy. And we also have the I Will Fund to support youth social action, Pears Foundation to support and empower young people, and High Sheriff to support and prevent crime, Manjit Wolstenholme Fund, young people again to support aspirations, and Community Partnering Fund, and also Healthy Holidays. So I'm going to go through the fund for today, which is the Sir Ken and Lady Morrison Fund. So the fund aim is to build literacy, and we are keen to hear from applicants that are working in Bradford and who are exploring different ways to engage and support young people, families, carers and adults from disadvantaged backgrounds with their reading and writing. So this is the second round for this programme. The first round in 2020 focused on literacy as well, and we funded 13 projects across Bradford. Just to give you an idea of some of the projects that we have funded through this programme, we supported projects where they delivered activity and sessions to support parents to read with their children. We've supported after school sessions, and activities where literacy may be focused through activities such as cooking. We've supported and visits to local libraries where there's storytelling sessions and other creative literacy activities for children, vulnerable people and adults. We've also supported weekly drop-in literacy hub for the local community in designated areas, creative development and creation of literacy card games. So it's just a creative way to encourage people to improve their literacy, and also early intervention programs for children struggling with literacy. So that's just an idea of the scope of projects that we have funded. So for this fund, the criteria is the same. We do want to focus on literacy. So I'll just go through who can apply for this fund. So this fund is open to community groups, charities, social enterprises or other charitable organisations from the third sector. And to be eligible, you must have a constitution or an other relevant governance document. You must have a management committee or a board of trustees or a board of directors of at least 3 unrelated people, none of whom have significant control. So that's something that we do check on Companies House. Have a bank account under the name of your organisation with at least 2 unrelated signatories. If your organisation doesn't have a bank account, please do contact us and might be able to work around that for you. And to be eligible, you must be based in or supporting people living in the Bradford Metropolitan District area. For unincorporated groups, you are eligible to apply if your annual income is less than £10,000 and if securing the grant does not take you over the threshold of £10,000 for that year. So the fund's aims, we are seeking applications for projects that can demonstrate the following themes and outcomes. So we want to improve the literacy of children and young people, including care leavers up to the age of 25 and adults from disadvantaged backgrounds. We want to increase in parents and carers reading with their families, and we want to increase support and encouragement to bring people together to improve their literacy. We do welcome applications that do include the cost of books and other resources, but just make sure that you demonstrate within your application how you will provide additional activities to support building literacy. So in your budget, if you have got a large amount that goes to books and resources, also include other support and activities within the project. Funds aims. So the focus is literacy, and applicants must be able to show that they're addressing a specific need in their community. So we're looking to fund practical projects that provide real tangible impact. And we've provided a few illustrative examples, but we are keen to see your ideas and hear your ideas in your application. So just an ideas could be projects that encourage children to use their local library, workshops or classes that support and encourage parents to read and write with their children, projects that support ex-offenders to improve their literacy and engage with their families, and spoken word poetry workshops that may engage young people with literacy in a fun, supportive environment. And we also recognise that improved literacy may be a challenge if there are language barriers, and therefore we do welcome applications that work to improve literacy by also supporting the learning of English language to provide that social mobility and opportunities. However, please do ensure that your project is not focused solely on language skills and that there is that real focus on the literacy part as well. So the size of the grant, the minimum request is £5,000 and the maximum request is £10,000 to fund projects between 1 to 2 years in duration. Whilst the grant can be used to part fund a wide range of activities, and we do like to see the impact our support is having. So accordingly, we prefer our grant to equal at least 50% of the total cost of your activity or project within the criteria. And also we can only accept 1 application per organisation. For projects that will be 2 years in duration, the grant will be split in half, and the second final payment will be paid on the submission of a satisfactory interim report, which will be due halfway through your project. And for the grant budget, we encourage all applications to consider how they will evidence learning and demonstrate and evaluate outcomes from the project. Applicants should consider to include costs for external evaluation or additional internal capacity to ensure they can effectively report back on their project. We also encourage full cost recovery, including a relevant portion of management costs and overheads. You can apply for support towards your core costs over the duration of the project, and you can also include up to 25% of costs for contribution to your organisation's sustainability. Staff costs, we do encourage and support, where possible, to include paying staff at least the real living wage. And costs are allowed as well, which enable the project to be fully inclusive and accessible. So that could be transport, volunteer costs, food and childcare. We also encourage you to envisage how a successful project could be sustained after this funding ends. So I'll just go through the application process. Full information is available on our website. To apply, you'll need to complete an online application form, and please do make sure that you read the full fund criteria on the webpage before applying. If you do have any questions, that's an opportunity as well for you to contact us. Please note there are word count limits on some of the questions. These are a maximum rather than a guideline. But we do advise to please use the Save as Draft button at the end of the form so that you don't lose any work, and you can then go back into your application form as well to edit and amend, and when it's complete you can then press submit. You can discuss your project with us first again, and do contact us if you do need to check something before submitting. Once an application form has been submitted, we will acknowledge the receipt of your application, and you should receive an email with a PDF of your application included. We will then assess your application. We may need to contact you or reference during this time. If your application is shortlisted, it will then be submitted to an awards panel for further consideration. You will also need to submit supporting documents. So that's your governance document, your recent financial accounts, a list of your board or committee or trustee members, quotes for capital items over £500 if that's included in your project budget, and a children and young people or vulnerable adult safeguarding policy. The evaluation process for this fund, with all of our funds, we're particularly keen to be able to understand the impact as a result of the grant. We would expect all applicants to think about what difference they can expect to make as a result of the grant being made and how they will demonstrate this impact. All organisations awarded a grant will be expected to complete an online end of grant report. You can include costs associated with this in your application. If your project is being delivered over 2 years, the grant payment will be split in half. And again, the final payment will be due on submission of an interim report. So we do encourage at the application stage to really think about evaluation, think about the need that your project will address, how you will capture the impact and the outcomes, what your success measures are, think about how the learning will be evidenced and demonstrated. So we do really encourage you to consider the project's planned outcomes, the success measures, and how the outcomes and impacts will be captured. Just some ideas: you may wish to capture the project's impact through evaluation tools such as qualitative case studies or quantitative pre and post questionnaires. Please do include case studies, beneficiaries, feedback quotes, photograph, video links. They're all welcome, but please do ensure that appropriate permission has been granted prior to sharing with us. So the timeline of this fund: we are launching the fund on the 19th of July. The deadline for applications will be noon on the 15th of September, and the assessment process for all of the applications will then be processed in September and October. During this time, we may need to contact the reference if you're a new applicant to Give Bradford. The decision panel is due to be held week beginning of the 25th of October, and then decisions will be sent to all applicants the following week, starting the 1st of November. If you are successful, the grant email will include any additional conditions set by the panel. It will also include the grant funding agreement, which you will need to sign. If your bid is not successful, we will let you know the reasons for declining it. Please note that we do have limited amount of funding available, and we are not able to fund every application that we receive. No matter how deserving the project is, sometimes we just don't have the funds. The decisions made by the panel are final, but if you do need any additional feedback, then you are welcome to contact us. We do expect this programme to be highly oversubscribed, so we strongly recommend that you seek alternative sources of funding for your project to avoid disappointment. If you do have any questions or queries, or if you'd just like to have a talk about your project idea, then please do contact us at grants@leedscf.org.uk, or you can call us on 0113 242 2426. Thank you.